All right, if you find yourself with too much going on throughout the day and you don't know your priorities and you're not clear, or you might even already be pretty clear, but you want to really get to that next level in terms of performance, getting shit done, building your business, all that, right? Achieving your goals, then listen up.
First step in solving any problem is recognizing there is one.
While America's infrastructure,
We fought for moral reasons. We stood up for what was right.
this nation will rise up.
Because I'm about to share with you the number one thing that I've learned over the past, I'd say probably 6 months, that's really helped me to stay at my highest level of performance. But then, like, even more importantly than that, to like be able to relax throughout the day and like enjoy the process instead of just grind. So if you want to know this number one tip or piece of wisdom, just stay tuned. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a background story here. So years ago, 5-6 years ago, what I used to do, like the first way I really started to learn how to make money was I was a consultant. And I would come into businesses. I'd work with either individual entrepreneurs or whole teams. I would come in because I was really, really good at being organized and I understood project management. And so I'd come into a team and they'd be all over the place and they wouldn't even know what they're doing in terms of like how they were like actually getting the right things done. Then I'd come in and I would consult with them. And a couple things that I learned that worked really well was, and this is like old school, like this stuff worked for me very well. But again, the stuff I'm going to share with you in a moment is cutting edge, like super cutting edge. So for right now, this stuff works as kind of a framework. About a lot of it comes from this guy, David Allen, who wrote a book called Getting Things Done. And it's good, right? Really good in terms of understanding like how do you get all this stuff in your mind out onto paper, and then how do you organize it and things like that. So that worked well for me initially. And they talked about like 2-minute actions and things like that. Whereas when you write something down, you want to put it into like what's the 2-minute physical action you could do. So instead of saying mow the lawn or call the accountant, rather it's like what is the little like 2-minute action you could do. And that stuff is great. Right? Even the fact of writing down all this stuff in your mind, getting it on paper is really, really important. Like I've seen just that alone, because then you can, it's like it frees up space in your mind. So your mind can actually go to work on the things that you want to work on instead of it being, all over the place. So that was like phase one. And then phase two this was back when I was living in California, and I was, one of my friends and he's like a mentor and just cool guy. And the main thing that I learned from him, and this was a guy, he grew one of his companies from 0 to 100 million in 18 months. He was doing ads for e-commerce. So it was like an agency where they help e-commerce entrepreneurs do ads. Pretty impressive, right? He was a little bit older, so it wasn't his first rodeo, but yeah, he did that. And I asked him one day, I said, how do you manage stuff? Because I'm doing the David Allen stuff, Getting Things Done, right? That book and that kind of that philosophy. He's like, yeah, that stuff is good. Like that's foundation. But then he goes, no, what I do is I then categorize my stuff 4, 3, 2, 1 based on, he called it carving impact. So like how much impact can you carve out in terms of the activity that you're doing? Now, of course, you'll have to be clear on what's your business, what's the purpose of your business, all that stuff. But I'm just giving you a high level overview of how to actually get more stuff done. And apologies for the dogs in the background. So that was really cool for me, because then I started to get my to-do list. It was like it became even more specified, because you would see shit that wasn't that important for you to do, but like you had to do it. So it became like, it's pretty impactful. Like if I don't hit this deadline, it's a huge impact, even if it's something small. Or I could look at my day and realize, wow, I'm spending so much damn time doing stuff that's not really moving the needle forward. So then you tweak for that and you change for that. And here's a pro tip. If you don't have a time in your day where you can reflect, like I usually do this at the end of the day, right before I eat dinner, where I can just look at the day. What did I get done? What do I have going on tomorrow? So I can really see like, where am I, like where can I improve? And when you have that system, right, at the end of the day, the system being, okay, check in with myself. I have a little checklist for myself. You can DM me if you want it. I'll send it to you. And then that way you can see at the end of every day what got done, what needs to get done tomorrow. And then you're constantly improving, right? Because you have a feedback loop. If you don't know anything about systems and systems thinking, feedback is like vital. Feedback is like breakfast. Like you need that, to fuel you, right? Leave a comment if you agree that feedback is breakfast, right? Right. Breakfast in the chat, in the comments. And so what now this has morphed into for me is now recently I got the very best way of looking at this. I'm reading this pretty interesting book. I found it the other day. It's called Effortless by Greg McCown. And, there's a lot of stuff in there that I think is, you can tell it's a mainstream book. I'll say it like that. But some of the stuff in there is gold. And then especially because I put that through my process of self-development. So like the stuff I do with Technotutor, the stuff I do with self-forgiveness writing. And I was able to apply the concepts from it and then get it like properly integrated. And one of the best things that I've seen, so about a month later now, and this is like the ultimate hack, right? Is looking at what is the next obvious action that I can take. Like really when I look at my to-do list. So let's say I know I have shit I got to do. Like, let's say like 3 things today, right? Like I have to call this one person. I have to research, I don't know, my wife wants to get a bunch of chickens, right? So I have to like research, like how much food do they need? Like what environment do they need? And then, let's say I have to like talk to my accountant, which I actually do. Okay. So instead of me putting on my to-do list, call accountant, research chickens, whatever. That's what that does is that like, this is why you gotta fine tune this. Cause if you're not fine tuning this, your level of productivity, you're probably at like 10% of your full capacity. And, so yeah, get it first. Sure. Throw it in your to-do list, right? That's better than nothing. And 2 would be, look at, is it a 4, 3, 2, or 1? 4 being high level of impact, right? It's also good. But now here's the real, like this is the super sauce, is get it phrased in terms of what is the next obvious action you have to take. So for example, right, I got to research chickens and how to have a good environment for them. What my next obvious action is going to be is Google search chicken owner 101, chicken owner basics 101 or whatever. So I literally put in search Google for blank. Right, that's a next obvious action. So now when I look at that on my to-do list, I'm like, oh, I could do that in probably 5 seconds. Like I could, if you actually really put your mind to it, you could sit down, open the browser, search chicken owner basics 101. And then what? And then here's what happens. It's because you do the one action, but then it's like, now you're in the momentum. You're like, oh, I could just do this, right? I could just read the blog, or I could just do the next thing. So that little action, when you can clarify what it is, that then starts this cascade of the right activity. And so that right there has just skyrocketed my level of performance. And and it's really an art form, right? When you can look at what is it that you have to do and then break it into that next obvious action. It takes a little bit more work on the front end when you're putting the information in. Now, if you don't even have a to-do list that you can trust, like if you have multiple to-do lists, or you're using your calendar, or you got some Post-it notes over here, and you got a notebook over here, and you got a planner and a journal, and then you got your notes on your phone and all that shit, like that's overwhelming you. And like there's a lot of consequence for that, because you don't have one trusted place. And if you have a trusted place though, where you can keep the stuff that you need to get done, I mean, then you literally, now you've created like an external brain. It's really amazing when you get that down. And then when you can frame it though, then, so you got the external brain, you got the stuff, so you can capture it. Like throughout the day, you're going to hear stuff, or I hear people all the time like, oh, I got to do that. Like, and then they don't pull out their phone and write it down. I'm like, you're not going to do that. Like, I know how the mind works. I know that that's someone just saying something, and maybe they'll surprise me and somehow remember it. But like every high performer that I know has some go-to form of getting stuff done. And this was actually one of my first YouTube videos I ever made. I called it "How to Make Your To-Do List Your Best Friend." But this is like on the next level, right? This is like how to make your to-do list like your best friend, like the ultimate like companion. Like actually, because now, so when you got the external brain, right, meaning your to-do list, and it's categorized like that, you got your priorities down too, so you know the 4, 3, 2, and the 1. And you got a system for updating it consistently every day and every week. That's also so key. And if you don't have that, you got to reach out, because I can plug you into different accountability groups that we have. And then the last part then is, you got to frame it as, what is the next obvious action? And hey, another idea, right? Like just one more example would be call my accountant, right? I might not have time right now because like the next obvious action is pick up the phone and call the accountant. But like that may not actually be practical. because maybe the accountant is busy. Maybe I have to book time with the accountant. Like, it's not yes, it's the next obvious action, but what would be better in that context? It might be book 20 minutes in calendar to chat with accountant, or text accountant for when we can chat for 20 minutes. You got to then figure out, maybe it's text the accountant, email them, set a time to call. It's like, you got to figure out what is the thing that's actually going to work into your workflow. And then when you have that, like, you're set. So yeah, that's high performance 101, maybe 201, right? Because 101 would just be like, have a to-do list. This is like a little bit more advanced, but I know many of you watching this are ready for this, because shit, this is like basic too, right? Because if you're going to write this stuff down, why not take an extra 2 seconds, clarify the next obvious action, and then you set yourself up for success. And when you do this right, you can get more done in a day than most people do in a whole week. Like, I'm not joking. I've seen it in front of my own eyes. Like, Seth has implemented this and he's dominating right now. Like, it's really cool to see. So, yeah, that's that. For anyone who wants to get plugged in more, like, shoot me a DM. We have a bunch of different groups for accountability, support, all sorts of stuff. Entrepreneur groups, place where you can get plugged in, learn how to grow your business. So just reach out to me. And then you can send me a message on Facebook or whatever. It's in the description. And then if you like this video and you learned something from it, please comment what you learned. And then if you have other questions, I can clarify in future videos, because my goal is just be one of the best in the world at giving out the best free content. So then you can see, and like, I want to get you to the point where you're like crushing it. You're building your business. You know what to do. You have money. And then at a certain point though, you'll realize, okay, what is the bigger purpose why I'm here? Why am I doing this? Then at that point we connect, right? And then I can plug you into some other communities and some people that are working on some really big things in the world. But if you're broke right now and you don't even know what you got to do on the average day, like, you can't focus on the bigger picture stuff. So my goal is to help you be able to get to that level. And yeah, I look forward to reaching out and connecting with people. And then I got more videos coming, so stay tuned. All right. What up, YouTube? All right, give me your next 90 seconds, and this is about to blow your freaking mind. So let's look at your life. Where do you want to be? Are you fully happy with where you're at? Or is there a next level that you know you can get to and also stay at? Right? Because it's one thing to get to the next level. It's another thing to stay there. Now, how do you get there? Right? So let's look at these people that, you know, society tends to idolize. You got Elon Musk, right? Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, you know, give or take, Oprah, Drake, right? These people that we would say are at the top in terms of their effectiveness. Those people, right? They're also people, right? They got 2 eyes, 2 ears, a mouth, right? A body, a brain. What's the difference? Right? What's the difference between them and you? If they're at the top, they have billions of dollars. And you're over wherever you're at with however much money's in your bank account. What's the difference? Right? Is it just they're more intelligent or they got lucky? No. It's very simple. It's called programming. They are programmed for success, and they're programmed to be able to hold on to that success when you're at whatever level of programming you're at. Now, for those of you who are willing to be honest about this and then want to change that for real, guess what? We have a private Discord group that you can join for yourself. Now, there is a requirement. You hop in and you got to get on a call so we can see if you're real or not. But aside from that, there's an elite group of people that are getting to the top and staying at the top, so we can use that influence to actually create a better world once and for all. So if you want to join, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Peace.